This is the Wall 200 with a special guest, Dark KKK Scythe.
Yeah, the liberal hippie communist himself.
We're here with a really interesting discussion of whether or not President Trump should be, impeached.
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation to have because there has been a lot of shit going down with the Mueller investigations. They indicted Flint, they indicted Manafort. They're going after a lot of people in his administration for crimes involving, money laundering and shit like that. Just straight up corruption, right? Um, but the question is, can they get an impeachment on Trump? I say probably not, and I have quite a few reasons for that. But I'd like to hear what you think about it first.
First, when they started actually talking about them wanting to impeach Trump, I was like, no, it's not really possible right now. Yeah, he said some stupid shit and maybe he pulled some things here and there, but as time progressed with the whole FBI showing up for that one guy, I think Stone, his name is, and
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
well, that might be, and he's been abusing his powers. I think, in my opinion, more and more and more. See what he kind of can get away with. I was like, maybe they could
Right,
not.
right. So my thing is, I don't think they're. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if they're. I don't think they're gonna get him on collusion. Like, I don't think they're gonna find the smoking gun to get him on collusion. And even if they did, um, Trump has talked about shit like pardoning himself and crazy dictator shit like that. And there's a law, I forgot what it was called for the life of me, but there's this movie that came out last month called Vice about Dick Cheney. They talked about it in that movie. Basically, people like Antonin Scalia and people like them like have an interpretation of this law where basically whatever the president does, if the president does it, it's legal. Okay, and we have a Supreme Court that is majority of people that are in favor of Trump, and also people that are in favor of this interpretation of the law. And I feel like the president has a lot more power than people lead on. Like, a lot of people like to say, "Oh, the president's just a figurehead. The president can't really do anything. It's all Congress." You're wrong if you think that. I mean, there have been so many wars that have been waged without congressional approval, and it's just to the point where it's insane, right? And I think people really do underestimate the true power that a president has available at their disposal. And honestly, I feel like there's not going to be an impeachment, at least before the 2020 election, because I don't think they're going to have enough evidence to even get the smoking gun on the collusion indictment, if any collusion really took place in the first place. Like, the thing is that you see the media that they're focusing on Trump and Russia, but there's a lot of other collusion going on other than that. Trump taking money from Saudi Arabia, for instance. He had a bunch of Saudi princes come to his hotel, and they paid him like hundreds of thousands of dollars, which obviously, it's an expensive hotel, but it's not that expensive. You don't pay that much to stay at a hotel. So they were clearly giving him money for favors for the Saudi government. And, you don't really see the media talking about all the corrupt shit like that. They always focus on Russia, but, and there might be some shady shit going on with Russia, but they don't focus on the real shady shit that we can actually prove, like shit like that. And yeah, I feel like, though, it's at the point now where the impeachment conversation is almost a moot point, because his approval rating is tanking because of the shutdown of the government.
Right.
It's at 39% now, last I checked, right? And that's lower than pretty much any other president at this point in their presidency in the past 20, 30 years. And you have to realize that it's a very big possibility that Trump might lose the general election if, the public opinion of him really is, starting to shift. But it also depends on if the Democrats actually run someone that actually has substance and is not just, oh, I'm against good things and against bad things, man, fucking hacks, right? But yeah, overall, me personally, and it goes further than that. It goes from whether we can get him impeached to should we get him impeached. Because if we do get him impeached, what's going to happen then? Well, Mike Pence becomes president.
That's right.
And do you really want that? I don't want that.
Well, thankfully, you cannot pardon yourself when you're a president. That he can't actually do that. Thankfully.
Right.
Also, he cannot be. I guess the way I understand it, he cannot be committed for a crime unless it's like insane, major, like murder or something. It has to be extreme for him to be even convicted at all of any kind of crimes.
Well, I mean, if you consider murder an extreme crime that a president can be convicted for, then every single president after World War II should have been hung, quite frankly, for war crimes.
like literally, if like he just went out and just like killed somebody.
Right. Like if he personally got a gun and shot someone. Yeah. No, I know what you mean, but still.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So it's like, I don't know. They can actually do it because it's extremely hard to impeach anybody.
Right.
As a president, you need some major shit, and I don't know if the Mueller investigation and the Stone thing is actually going to be enough. I mean, that would be nice to see. Actually, I don't know if I really want Pence in there, but I don't know if, as right now, Trump or Pence. I really don't know.
I mean,
proving it is extremely hard, and even if they could they actually go through with it and actually impeach him? Because it's not that easy, and he does have a lot more power than people give him credit to.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it really is a difficult thing, and it's a lot more complicated than people like to believe.
It's like, oh yeah, the Senate will vote, and
yeah,
that's not exactly how it works.
Right. Yeah, it's a lot more complicated than that. But
pretty much a trial and put all the evidence forth, and even after all that stuff, it may not even come through. So
right. And I feel like by the time we even get to that point, he'll be out of office anyway. Yeah,
he'll be out. Yeah, because it'll take years to even go through with it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it has to be something that is just so insanely obvious that there's really no denying it at that point. Like with Richard Nixon, for instance.
Right. The whole Watergate scandal and stuff like that. Unless that stuff like hits him hard, he's going to stay there. I very highly doubt he'll get reelected. And that's probably the best thing ever.
Right. And I feel like, there are still to put it frankly, scary amount of people that blindly defend Trump and everything he does without, they never call him out. They never disagree with anything he says or does. They're kind of just obedient slaves for their owner Trump, essentially.
Actually agree. Not everyone, but there is always going to be those people who follow him regardless what he does, what he says.
Right, and everybody has that, because I feel like in order to be elected as president, you have to have some sort of cult of personality behind you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's kind of my thing.
Right. So I actually hope I don't see an impeachment really coming. I don't see him actually resigning, but that'd be a nice thing to see. But I really would like to see that happen, even though I don't really necessarily like Pence, and I don't know if he would do any good. I guess better in there. I really don't know. I have my doubts about him too because he's said some things and done some things that are very similar to Trump. So you're getting rid of Trump for a Trump, basically.
Yeah, so basically, Mike Pence is Donald Trump, except he words things a little nicer. That's about it. You know, he's a
Yeah,
little
I've
more
seen some
polite.
things. Yeah, I've seen some things he's done and said. So it's very similar to what Trump does. So you're essentially dumping Trump for another Trump.
Right, right. And that's why I think it's better just to run someone who is truly anti-corruption, you know, truly actually wants to push policies that help the American people and not, you know, build pointless walls that aren't really going to help anybody, and are not really going to stop illegal immigration for that matter. Um, so, I mean, and also not, you know, give tax cuts to the rich and, you know, do Reaganomics 2.0, shit like that.
2.0. Yeah, he's putting my shit, and I was just very interested to see what you had to say about it all, and I'll be putting this on my alternate channel.
Right. So because you're I guess you're worried it'll get not demonetized but like just straight up strike
This,
down.
either that or the shadow ban. I noticed like ever since I
Ah.
started doing politic kind of stuff, my channel's been growing really well, like faster than any of my other channels I ever made. So I'm just trying to avoid that kind of shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, like I'm surprised I've got as far as I did with making political videos without getting too many videos fucked over. I think the only political video I that I got fucked over was my actually like my first overtly completely political video. That one got age restricted, shadow banned, all this other shit. But after that, it's been you know it's been all right. Knock on wood.
All right, you
Yeah,
can stop the call if you like. I'm satisfied with what we accomplished here.
sure, absolutely. I guess you should do your outro, the classic outro.
Please rate, comment, and subscribe.